I never thought my life would unravel like a dusty trail in the Arizona sun. But there I was, knee-deep in the guts of West Data Solutions server farm, sweat trickling down my back despite the hum of the industrial AC units. The place was tucked away in the high desert outside Phoenix, where the red rocks met endless blue skies. And the only sounds were the whir of fans and the occasional coyote howl at night. I'd poured 13 years into this company, turning a ramshackle operation into a powerhouse of data reliability. Back when I started, West Data was little more than a converted warehouse, prone to blackouts from monsoon storms and hardware failures that could fry circuits faster than a summer wildfire. But I fixed it all, negotiated with power companies for redundant grids, custom-built cooling systems to handle the blistering heat, and even navigated EPA regs when our old refrigerant lines nearly got us shut down. John Harlan, the founder and CEO, had begged me to stay during a crisis in 2015, and I'd negotiated an ironclad contract that gave me autonomy over operations. I didn't do it for glory. I did it because this place became my world, my rhythm, the steady pulse that kept me going after my own family fell apart years ago. My name's Emily Hayes, and I've always been the quiet force behind the scenes. No fancy office for me, just a workstation amid the racks, where I could feel the heartbeat of the machines. John respected that.
Or at least he used to.
He was a self-made man from Tucson, built West Data from nothing after striking it big in tech during the dot-com boom. But lately, things had shifted. His son, Alex, fresh out of a cushy internship at a Silicon Valley startup, started showing up in meetings. Alex has got vision, John would say, clapping him on the back like he was unveiling the next big thing. Vision? The kid could barely tell a failover cluster from a coffee machine. He tripped an emergency shutdown once during a routine check, just to test the backups. The whole facility went dark, racks powering down, alarms blaring like sirens in a ghost town. I crawled out from under the subfloor, head throbbing from smacking a conduit, dust caking my face. Alex just grinned, shrugging it off. Wanted to see how quick it rebounds. I bit my tongue, restarted diagnostics, and kept my cool. But inside, something cracked. 13 years of loyalty. And this was my reward? It started small. John suggested Alex shadow me, learn the ropes. Then it was Alex leading vendor calls, fumbling through terms he'd Googled the night before. Last week, the bomb dropped. Emily, Alex is stepping into a leadership role. You'll transition him in. I sat in John's office, the one with views of the saguaro cacti dotting the horizon, and felt the air thicken. Leadership? Over what I've built. John's eyes softened, but his voice was firm. He's family.
Eminencia.
Got fresh ideas from that app company he interned at. Time to pass the torch. I nodded, but my mind raced to that 2015 contract, buried in my files like a hidden ace. Clause 22C, it wasn't just legalese, it was my safeguard against exactly this. If my role was diluted for familial reasons, not performance, I could walk with vested equity tied to the company's uptime metrics. It was clear, notarized, and enforceable under Arizona law. I'd written it myself, with lawyers' stamps to back it up. John had signed without a second thought, desperate to keep me then. I didn't storm out. Instead, I handed Alex a blank folder, my way of saying, figure it out, back at my desk. I pulled up my private logs, documenting every shift, every slight. The desert wind howled outside, rattling the windows, mirroring the storm brewing in me. I loved this job, the way it demanded precision in a world of chaos. But betrayal? That cut deeper than any cactus spine. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in fiery oranges, I realized the countdown had begun. Not in the servers, but in my resolve. I wouldn't burn bridges. I'd invoke what was mine, legally and fairly. But first, I needed to breathe, to remember why I'd fought so hard. My ex-husband had left me for someone with more spark, taking our savings and leaving me to rebuild alone. West Data became my anchor, my proof that hard work paid off.
Now.
Even that was slipping away. That night, driving home on the empty highway, stars blanketing the sky like scattered diamonds, I replayed the years. The all-nighters during flash floods, sleeping on a cot next to the generators. The client wins that put us on the map, energy firms, insurance giants relying on our uptime. John had called me the spine of the operation, yet here I was, sidelined for blood ties. Alex, with his Patagonia vest and startup jargon, represented everything I wasn't: entitled, untested. I pulled over at a roadside diner, the kind with neon signs buzzing and truckers nursing coffee. Sipping mine black, I stared at my reflection in the window. Was I ready to pull the trigger? Clause 22C wasn't revenge, it was justice. A reminder that loyalty should be reciprocal. But as I watched a family laugh at a nearby booth, I felt a pang. Maybe there was more to this than contracts. Maybe hearts were at stake too. The next morning, the server room felt different, charged with unspoken tension. I sat on the cool floor, coffee cooling beside me, watching the monitors glow green. Everything was perfect, because I'd made it so. At 9:12, John burst in, Alex trailing with a shiny new laptop. Ready to train my boy, John boomed. I stood, dusted my jeans, and handed him my badge. Then an envelope.
No, John.
I'm done. Alex blinked. Wait.
What?
John tore it open, his face paling as he read the invocation of Clause 22C. You're serious? He whispered. Dead serious, I replied. You made me replaceable. Now feel the weight. I walked out, the door clicking shut behind me like a final period. The desert air hit me, fresh and vast. Freedom tasted bittersweet, but necessary. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a reckoning that would force us all to face our choices. The days after I walked out blurred into a haze of desert heat and introspection. I holed up in my small ranch-style house on the outskirts of Phoenix, the kind with a yard full of prickly pear and a view of the Superstition Mountains. No more server hums to lull me to sleep, just the quiet tick of my grandfather clock and the occasional rumble of a passing freight train. I'd invoked Clause 22C cleanly, immediate resignation triggering vested equity based on 5 years of near-perfect uptime, around $7.8 million. Per the contract's formula. It was all above board, reviewed by my attorney, who assured me Arizona courts would uphold it. No loopholes. No drama beyond the facts. But as I sipped iced tea on my porch, watching dust devils swirl in the distance, doubt crept in. Was this too harsh? John had built West Data from scratch. Alex was just a kid trying to find his place. Yet the betrayal stung. A reminder of how easily the overlooked get discarded. John's first call came that afternoon, his voice crackling over the line like dry lightning. Emily, this is crazy. Come back. Let's talk. I let it go to voicemail, forwarding it to my lawyer. By evening, emails piled up, polite at first, then urgent. Legal was involved now, dissecting the clause. I imagined John pacing his office, the one with Navajo rugs and photos of family barbecues. He'd always prided himself on being a family man, but that family never included me. The workhorse who'd saved his bacon more times than I could count. Alex tried texting. Hey.
Ink.
Didn't mean to step on toes. Dad's freaking out.
I didn't reply.
Instead, I drove to a local trailhead, hiking up a rocky path as the sun set, the air cooling with the promise of night. Up there, amid the cholla and ocotillo, I felt small but empowered. This wasn't petty revenge. It was standing up for what I'd earned. By day 2, the ripples hit West Data hard. Vendors I'd cultivated, power suppliers from Tucson, diagnostic software firms from Vegas started stalling. One emailed, holding shipment until Emily verifies continuity. Alex, bless his naive heart, replied with buzzwords about agile transitions. They shot back. Contracts require her sign-off. I heard through the grapevine, a former colleague who texted discreetly, that the server room was in mild chaos. A routine cooling sink failed because the script was keyed to my credentials. John barked orders. But, without my custom protocols, things stuttered. Clients pinged in. An energy company in Albuquerque paused data uploads.
Demanding assurance.
Is Emily still overseeing? The Dallas insurance giant, our biggest account, froze everything, citing potential liability. West Data's uptime was legendary, 99.99% over years, but that was my doing.
Now.
The machine I'd oiled was grinding without me. I spent day 3 at a coffee shop in Scottsdale, laptop open but idle, reflecting on how it all led here. Back in 2015, during a massive upgrade amid a heat wave that nearly melted our racks, the old CTO bailed. John cornered me in the break room, sweat beading on his brow.
Ink.
Don't leave me hanging. I sat him down and laid out the contract. Autonomy, equity vesting, and Clause 22C as protection against nepotism. He signed, relieved. I'd foreseen this, John's blind spot for family. Alex had grown up privileged, summers at dude ranches, college paid for.
Me?
I'd clawed my way up from a trailer park in Flagstaff, learning code in community college while waitressing. Our worlds collided at West Data, but now they clashed. By day 4,
the pressure mounted.
My attorney fielded calls. John offered a buyout below the clause's value.
No, instructa.
Stick to the terms. I volunteered at a local animal shelter that afternoon, walking rescue dogs under the relentless sun. Their wagging tails reminded me of simpler loyalties. Maybe I could soften, offer guidance without returning. But then an email from John. This could ruin us.
Eminencia.
Think of the team. The team he'd sidelined me for? Anger flared. But so did empathy. John wasn't evil, he was flawed. Blinded by paternal pride. Day 5 brought the first real crack. A board member called my attorney, probing settlements. West Data's stock dipped slightly, nothing catastrophic. But whispers in tech circles grew. I hiked again, this time to Camelback Mountain, the climb mirroring my internal struggle. At the summit, wind whipping my hair, I realized this drama wasn't just about money. It was about recognition, about not being invisible. That night, Alex showed up at my door.
Hut and hunt?
Looking like a lost puppy. Can we talk? He asked, voice trembling. I let him in, the living room lit by soft lamps. Photos of desert sunsets on the walls. He sat awkwardly on my couch. I didn't know about the clause. Dad thought you'd just train me. I poured us coffee. It's not about you, Alex. It's about earning your stripes, not inheriting them. He nodded, eyes downcast. I screwed up that shutdown. I get it now. For the first time, I saw vulnerability, not the cocky intern, but a young man under pressure. We talked for hours about his fears of failing his dad, my years of solitude in the servers. It humanized him, chipped at my resolve. As week 1 ended, I started a new routine. Mornings journaling on the porch, afternoons job hunting. Offers came in data firms in Denver, Seattle, drawn to my reputation. But West Data's silence grew ominous. The 21-day window in Clause 22C loomed. If unsettled, it escalated to full ownership claims, potentially triggering audits. John knew. His messages turned pleading. I forwarded them all.
Yet,
In quiet moments, staring at the stars, I wondered if there was a path to redemption. Not for them, but for all of us. Drama had engulfed us, but maybe mercy could rewrite the ending. The second week dawned with a monsoon rolling in from the south, thunder rumbling like distant artillery over the Phoenix skyline. I watched from my window as rain pelted the parched earth, turning dust to mud, a fitting metaphor for the mess at West Data. My attorney updated me. The board was in panic mode, scrambling to mitigate the clause's fallout. Vendors held firm, refusing sign-offs without my input. A power grid partner in Reno cited Arizona contract law, pausing upgrades. Clients escalated. The Dallas firm demanded a third-party audit, freezing millions in data flows. Uptime dipped slightly, not catastrophic, but enough to raise alarms. Alex's attempts to patch things only highlighted his inexperience. He botched a diagnostic run, causing a brief outage that cost them credibility. John's emails evolved from pleas to accusations. You're destroying what we built together.
we?
I'd built the systems while he schmoozed investors. But guilt nagged. I volunteered more at the shelter, finding solace in the dog's uncomplicated trust. One evening, as lightning flashed, my phone rang. John. I answered this time.
Ing.
Please. Let's meet. Neutral ground. His voice cracked, the bravado gone. We agreed on a diner in Tempe, the kind with vinyl booths and endless coffee refills. I arrived first, nerves jangling like keys in my pocket. John slid in opposite me, looking 10 years older, bags under his eyes. You win, he said flatly. But this clause, it's killing us. I stirred my coffee. You signed it,
John.
to keep me when you needed me. He nodded, staring at his hands. I thought family meant stability. Alex. He's my legacy. Legacy isn't handed down, I replied softly. It's earned. Like I earned mine here. We talked for 2 hours about the early days, when West Data was a startup in a strip mall, me debugging code by flashlight during blackouts. About his divorce. How Alex became his anchor. I pushed him in too fast, he admitted. Didn't see how it hurt you. Tears welled in his eyes. A vulnerability I'd never seen. I felt the drama shift, not triumph, but shared pain. I don't want to ruin you, I said. But I need acknowledgement. He offered a settlement. Full clause value.
Plus sa publique apologie.
I countered. Involve Alex properly. Train him right. And I'd consult remotely to smooth the transition. No return, but a bridge. He agreed, tentative hope in his gaze. Back home, rain easing to a drizzle. I emailed my attorney. Negotiate, but with mercy. The clause was ironclad under state law, no arbitration needed, just enforcement. But I instructed leniency on the timeline. Day 10 brought board calls. They pushed for quick resolution. Alex texted, "Thanks for talking to Dad. Learning a lot. The hard way." I smiled faintly. Perhaps this was the turning point. By day 12, Audits loomed. A state energy grant we'd secured, subsidizing our eco-friendly cooling, required my verification. Without it, penalties could hit. John panicked, but our diner talk lingered. I met Alex separately at a park, saguaros towering like silent witnesses. "Walk me through a failover," I said. He stumbled, but listened as I explained. "It's not about speed," I told him. "It's about reliability. Like the desert, enduring." He nodded, gratitude in his eyes. "I get why you left." I would have too. Negotiations heated up. My attorney drafted terms. Payout phased. Me as consultant for 6 months.
Alex shadowing assistant.
John signed preliminarily. But drama peaked on day 14. A client defected to a rival in Vegas, citing instability. Westdata's rep took a hit. Articles in tech blogs whispered of leadership shakeup. John called. Voice breaking. Help us fix this. I agreed to a virtual meeting, guiding them through a critical patch. It worked. Uptime stabilized. In that moment, revenge faded, replaced by a quiet satisfaction in mending what I'd built. As week 2 closed, settlement papers arrived. I signed, the weight lifting like storm clouds parting. The clause had forced reckoning, but my choice to soften it added humanity. Driving through the rain-washed streets, I felt peace. This wasn't just about law, it was about hearts healing in the vast western expanse. Week 3 unfolded under clearer skies. The desert blooming with wildflowers after the rains, a rare, vibrant reminder that renewal follows storms. Settlement in hand, I wired the first payout installment, banking it wisely. No splurges. I'd learned frugality the hard way. Westdata stabilized somewhat. My remote consultations bridging gaps. Alex emailed daily with questions. His tone humble. "How do you handle grid fluctuations during heat waves?" I replied patiently, sharing knowledge like seeds in fertile soil. John issued a company-wide memo. Emily Hayes was the architect of our success. Her departure highlights the value of earned expertise over assumptions. It wasn't flowery, but it acknowledged me publicly, per deal. Yet echoes of drama lingered. A board investigation probed John's decisions, questioning nepotism under corporate governance laws.
No illegality.
But scrutiny stung. John confided in a call, "They're pushing for oversight on hires." I listened, offering no judgment. "Learn from it," I said. "Family's important, but so is fairness."
He paused.
"You taught me that."
Eminência.
Meanwhile, I explored new paths, consulting gigs in Denver, a potential role at a green tech firm in Portland. The West called to me, its open spaces mirroring my freed spirit. I hiked Sedona's red rocks, vortex energy buzzing, contemplating life's twists. Betrayal had hurt, but it forged growth. On day 18, crisis hit. A monsoon blackout tested the systems.
Alex called de frente Cali.
The backups are lagging. I guided him step by step via video, his hands steadying as we troubleshot. Uptime held barely. "You saved us," he said afterward.
No, y correcta.
"You did." By listening. John joined the call.
Gratitude evident.
"We're implementing training protocols like you suggested." It felt like closure. The clause's shadow lifting. By day 20, full settlement transferred. $7.8 million earned through sweat and servers. I donated a portion to a women's tech scholarship in Arizona, paying it forward. Alex visited again, bearing a cactus plant as a peace offering. We sat on my porch, sunset painting the mountains gold. "Dad's stepping back a bit," he shared. giving me real mentorship. I nodded. Good. Build your own legacy. He left with a hug, awkward, but genuine. The final day. Clause 22 sees window closed without escalation. West Data endured. Stronger for the shakeup. I drove west toward California. Windows down. Wind carrying sage scents. The drama had been intense, but it taught us all, loyalty isn't blind, and forgiveness mends deeper than revenge. In the months that followed, the American West became my canvas for reinvention. I settled in a cozy cabin near Lake Tahoe, Nevada side, where pines whispered secrets and the lake mirrored endless skies. The payout afforded freedom. I consulted selectively, helping startups build resilient systems, emphasizing ethics over shortcuts. West Data thrived under reformed leadership. Alex rose steadily, earning respect through grit, not genes. John retired partially, focusing on family ranching in Tucson, occasionally emailing updates like old friends. Reflecting on that desert storm, I saw the humanity in our saga. Betrayals sparked drama, but the clause clear, legal, just forced dialogue. We learned, value those who build quietly, honor contracts as promises, and extend grace when possible. In the end,
No villains.
just flawed folks navigating life's rugged trails. And in that reckoning, we all found a bit more light.